All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on a true national phenomenon. Twint. If you're in Switzerland, you've definitely seen its logo everywhere. It's the mobile payment app that's become a totally essential part of daily life. But how on earth did it get so big? Well, let's get into it. And when I say big, I mean really big. Twint has more than 6 million active users. Now think about that for a second. In a country of only about 9 million people, that level of adoption is just incredible. It's not just another app anymore. It's basically the national standard. So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll look at just how dominant Twint really is. Then, we'll dig into its surprisingly interesting origin story. After that, we're going to follow the money, see how it actually works as a business, take a quick peek under the hood at the tech, and then we'll zoom out to understand its role in the bigger picture for Switzerland.
Okay, let's kick things off with its status as the undisputed champ of Swiss payments. We know it has millions of users, right? But where are they all using it? The short answer is, well, just about everywhere.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Most of us probably got started with Twint to split a restaurant bill with a friend, right? That person-to-person stuff. But look at this. That now only makes up about a quarter of what Twint does. The real engine here, the massive 75%, is commercial payments. It's how Switzerland shops. And this shows you exactly why. Just look at those numbers for merchant acceptance. Whether you're at a corner store or on your favorite website, there's an over 80% chance you can just whip out your phone and pay with Twint. That little logo has become totally ubiquitous. And the result of all that? An absolutely staggering 99% brand awareness among people 16 and over. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's pretty much impossible to find someone in Switzerland who hasn't heard of Twint. It's a household name, right up there with the big banks. So where did this powerhouse even come from? It certainly didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Let's rewind a bit and check out its origin story because it's key to understanding how it all came together. It all started back in 2014 as a little project spun off from Post Finance. But the real game-changing moment was in 2017. That's when it merged with a rival app from the big banks called Payment. That merger created one single unified platform for the whole country. And from there, whoosh, growth just exploded. We're talking 773 million transactions last year. And now they're even looking at adding things like official digital IDs and stablecoins. And this right here is why that merger was so important. Just look at who owns Twint. It's basically all of Switzerland's biggest banks and financial players. This was never a scrappy startup trying to disrupt the system. No, this was the system, building its own digital payment future. Having all that collective firepower behind it was the absolute secret sauce. Okay, so this brings up a pretty obvious question. If the app is free for all of us to use, how does Twint actually make any money? Well, let's follow the transaction fees and see how the business model works. Exactly. If millions of us are sending money back and forth and paying in shops for free, somebody has to be paying somewhere, right? Well, the answer, as you probably guessed, is on the other side of the counter, with the merchants. Twint basically has two main ways for businesses to get on board. The first one is super simple, the QR code sticker. You see these everywhere, at farmers markets, small shops, you name it. A business just sticks it on the counter and pays a small 1.3% fee per transaction. No expensive hardware needed. Then, for the bigger stores, Twint is built right into their existing payment terminals, and the fees are more like what they'd pay for a regular debit card transaction. But the strategy is so much smarter than just payments. Twint is building what you could call a super wallet. They keep adding more and more useful things into the app, all under that familiar logo. Paying for parking, storing your loyalty cards, getting coupons, even making donations. It gives you more and more reasons to open the app every single day, which just drives more engagement and, of course, more transactions. So, to handle this kind of scale, you need a seriously powerful and reliable engine running behind the scenes. Let's take a quick peek inside the tech that makes Switzerland's digital cash actually work. First things first, and this is a really big deal, security and privacy. Twint makes a huge point of emphasizing that all user data is stored on secure servers located right inside Switzerland. For Swiss users, that's a massive factor for trust, and it ties directly into their bigger strategy, which we'll get to in just a minute. Okay, don't worry, you don't have to be a software engineer to get this slide. The key thing to know here is that Twint is built on a really modern, flexible, and scalable foundation. They use cloud technology and all the latest tools, which basically means they can handle millions of payments without breaking a sweat and can also roll out new features all the time. And we, the users, can tap into this tech in two main ways.
Most people just use the app provided by their own bank, which connects right to their bank account. But, and this is clever, to make sure absolutely everyone can use it, there's also a prepaid version of the app. Anyone can download it and just top it up with money so nobody gets left out. All right, it's time to connect all the dots. Because this isn't just a story about a really popular app. It's actually a story about a much larger national strategy. Let's look at the bigger picture. At the end of the day, Twint's incredible success really comes down to this. It offers a clear and simple win for everybody. For us, the consumers, it's become Switzerland's digital cash. One simple app for everything. And for merchants, it's a super easy way to go digital and get tools to help their business grow. And this right here is probably the most important takeaway of all. Twint is very deliberately framed as a Swiss solution for Switzerland. The whole underlying mission is to make sure the country maintains its independence in the really critical world of digital payments, so it doesn't have to rely on giant global tech companies. It's all about what's called digital sovereignty. Which leaves us with one last pretty big question to think about. As Twint starts moving into things like official digital IDs and maybe even digital currencies, are we actually watching the creation of a blueprint for how a whole country can build its own sovereign digital wallet? It's a really powerful idea, and a model that could have a huge impact way beyond Switzerland. Thanks for joining this explainer.